students, welcome to The Point. In today's session, let's discuss about Iranian and Macedonian invasions. Iranian invasions. So in the northeastern part of India, smaller principalities and republics, they gradually emerged with Magadhan Empire. But the northwest India, it presented a different picture in the first half of the 6th century BC. Several small principalities like Kambojas, Gandharas and Madras, they fought one another. And this area did not have any powerful kingdom like Magadha to weld the warring communities into one organized kingdom. And the area was also wealthy and it could be easily entered through the passes in Hindu Kush. The Achaemenian rulers of Iran, who expanded their empire at the same time as Magadhan princes, they took advantage of political disunity in northwest frontier of India. The Iranian ruler called Darius, he is the one. He penetrated into northwest India in 516 BC and he annexed Punjab west of the Indus and Sindh, and this area constituted the 12th province of satrapy in Iran. The total number of satrapies in Iranian Empire was 28. Satrapy means kingdom. Similarly, the Indian satrapy included Sindh, the northwest frontiers and the parts of Punjab that lay to the west of Indus, and it was the most fertile and populous part of the empire. And this part alone it paid a tribute of 360 talents of gold, and this was accounted for 1/3 of total revenue of Iran from its Asian provinces. The Indian subjects, they were enrolled in Iranian army. And next comes Xerxes. Xerxes is said to be the successor of Darius. He employed the Indians in a long war against the Greeks, and appears that India could be a part of Iranian Empire till Alexander's invasion of India. So now let's discuss what were the results for the contact of India and Iran in those days, that is Indo-Iranian Contact. So this Indo-Iranian Contact, it lasted for 200 years and it gave importance to trade and commerce. The cultural results were also important. The Iranian scribes, they brought into India a form of writing, and those writing, it was known to be Kharoshthi script, and this script, it was written from right to left like the Arabic script. And some Ashokan inscriptions in the northwest India, they were also written in this Kharoshthi script during the 3rd century BC, and in this script it continued to be used in the country till the 3rd century AD. Iranian coins are also found in northwest frontier regions, which points out the existence of trade with Iran. Next thing is trade with Iran. The monuments of Ashoka's time, especially the bell-shaped capitals, it owed something to Iranian models. Iranian influence can also be traced in preamble of Ashoka's edict. For example, the Iranian term Dipi, the Ashokan script used the term as Lipi. And also it seems that Greeks, they came to know about the great wealth of India, and it boosted their greed, and it led to the invasion of Alexander to India. Alexander's invasion. So during the 4th century BC, the Greeks and Iranians, they fought for supremacy of the world, and under the leadership of Alexander of Macedonia, the Greeks finally destroyed Iranian Empire, and Alexander, he conquered Asia, Asia Minor and Iraq. He also conquered Iran, and from Iran he marched to India. Alexander, he was attracted by the great wealth of India. Herodotus, he is said to be the father of history, and other Greek writers had painted India as a fabulous land, and this tempted Alexander to invade India. Alexander possessed a strong passion for geographical inquiry and a natural history. He heard that the eastern side of India was a continuation of Caspian Sea. He was also inspired by mythical exploits of past conquerors whom he hated to emulate and surpass. The political condition of the northwest India suited his plans. The area was parcelled out into many independent monarchies and tribal publics, which were strongly wedded to the soil and had a fierce love of principality over which they ruled. Alexander found it easy to conquer these principalities one by one, and among the rulers of these territories, two were well known. They are Ambi, he was the prince of Taxila, and Porus, whose kingdom lay between Jhelum and Chenab. Together they might have been effectively restricted the advance of Alexander, but they could not put up a joint front. At that time, the Khyber Pass was unguarded, and after the conquest of Iran, Alexander moved on to Kabul, and from there he marched to India through Khyber Pass, and it took him 5 months to reach Indus. And Ambi, who was the ruler of Taxila, he readily submitted to the invader. He augmented his army and he replenished his treasure. When he reached the Jhelum, Alexander met Porus, the first and the strongest resistance faced by Alexander. And although Alexander defeated Porus, he was impressed by the bravery and courage of that Indian prince, that is Porus. So he restored his kingdom to him and he made him his ally. Then he advanced as far as the Beas river, and he wanted to move still further eastward, but his army refused to accompany him. The Greek soldiers, they had grown war weary and disease stricken. The hot climate of India and 10 years of continuous campaigning had made them terribly homesick, and they had also experienced a taste of Indian fighting qualities on the banks of Indus, which made them desist from further progress. The Greek historian called Arrian tells us, in the art of war, the Indians were far superior to the other nations inhabiting the area at that time. Especially the Greek soldiers were told as a formidable power on river Ganga. And it was the kingdom of Magadha ruled by Nandas, maintained an army for outnumbering that of Alexander. So despite the repeated appeals of Alexander to advance, the Greek soldiers did not step an inch. Alexander lamented, "I am trying to rouse the hearts that are disloyal and crushed with craven fears." The king, who had never known defeat at the hands of his enemies, had to accept defeat from his own men. He was forced to retreat, and his dream of an Eastern empire remained unfulfilled. On his return march, Alexander vanquished many small republics till he reached the end of Indian frontier. He remained in India for 19 months, which were full of fightings. He had barely any time to organize his conquest. Still he made some arrangements, and most conquered states were restored to their rulers, who submitted to his authority. But his own territorial possessions were divided into 3 parts, which were placed under 3 Greek governors, and he also founded a number of cities to maintain his power in this area. Effects of Alexander's invasion. Alexander's invasion. It provided the first occasion when ancient Europe came into close contact with ancient India, and it produced important results. The Indian campaign of Alexander was a triumphant success. He added to his empire an Indian province, which was much larger than that conquered by Iran. But soon the Greek possessions in India were lost to the Maurya rulers. The most important outcome of this invasion was the establishment of direct contact between India and Greece in different fields. Alexander's campaign opened up 4 distinct routes by land and sea, and it paved the way for Greek merchants and craftsmen, and it increased the existing facilities for trade. So we can hear that some Greeks living in northwest of India, even before the invasion of Alexander, the invasion led to the establishment of more Greek settlements in this area, and the most important of them were the city of Alexandria in Kabul region, Bokhepala on Jhelum, and Alexandria in Sindh. And all these areas, those 3 areas, it was conquered by Mauryas, and Mauryas settled there under the leadership of Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka. Alexander was deeply interested in geography of mysterious ocean when he saw for the first time at the mouth of Indus. Alexander's historians have left valuable geographical accounts, and they also have left clearly dated records of Alexander's campaign, which enables us to build Indian chronology for subsequent events on a definite basis. Alexander's historians, they also give us important information about social and economic conditions. They tell us about the sati system, the sale of girls in marketplaces by poor parents, and the fine breed of oxen in northwest India. Alexander sent from there 2 lakh oxen to Macedonia for use in the Greece. The art of carpentry was the most flourishing craft in India, and carpenters built chariots, boats, and even ships. So by destroying the powers of petty states in northwest India, Alexander's inventions, it made a way for expansion of Maurya Empire in that area. And according to tradition, Chandragupta Maurya, who founded the Mauryan Empire, had seen something of the working of military machine of Alexander, and they acquired some knowledge which helped him in destroying the power of Nandas. So this is all about Iranian and Macedonian invasions in India. In the next sessions, let's discuss about the state and Varna society in the age of Buddha. Thank you.